Good morning, everyone. Today, to defend the United States Constitution, to defend democracy in America, and to defend what it means to be an American citizen. We are thrilled that the court saw the seriousness and the urgency of the complaint and request for a temporary restraining order brought by the state of Washington, Oregon, Arizona, and Illinois, and are thrilled that the judge issued a temporary restraining order directing the United States government the unconstitutional and un-American executive order attempting to eliminate birthright citizenship in America. This is step one, but to hear the judge from the bench say that in his 40 years as a judge, he has never seen something so blatantly unconstitutional sets the tone for the seriousness of this effort.
Hey everybody, welcome back. From that opening clip, you can see that the battle of the executive orders has started. While this is taking place, we are watching tens of thousands of active duty service people, mostly Marines at this point, being activated to the southern border, a declaration of a national disaster so that the active military can be deployed on soil as is not normal. But this battle that has been picked and chosen by 22 different states brought before the Washington State Federal Court Judge John Kaufner is going to take a long time to get settled. This ruling, this executive order, was described by Judge Coughlin as blatantly unconstitutional. Now, a lot of you may not know or have had the opportunity to look at the 14th Amendment, which covers a lot of ground here. But the 14th Amendment has been used in the past, and for those that remember the Mariel boat lifts coming out of Cuba, where Castro opened up his borders and let people flee that didn't want to be there, and then also threw in a bunch of prisoners for us that we ended up having to round up and catch and put away in detention and then later deport back. The 14th Amendment was used there also. And its Latin term of joy sol, or joy soil, whichever way you care to pronounce it, means just that, on dry ground. And the rule of the law given to the Coast Guard by the U.S. government back then was, if the people from the Mariel boat lift survive the crossing and they make it to shore and they have both feet planted on dry ground, they're here. If they get caught with one foot in the water, they had to go back. So a lot of people got turned back, and a lot of people made multiple efforts to get across. And I was a young man, politically active at the time, and saw some pretty horrendous things going on with that. But the 14th Amendment was used there. Now, just for those people that have not read it or do not know the text of it, I'm going to read just a little portion of it here. It says, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside. End quote. It means just that. A lot of people that came here who got here one way or another, and yes, a lot of their parents did get here, not in the most kosher method, shall we say, but they got here. And they built lives here, and their children were guilty of being born. And that's their only crime. I was reminded at coffee just yesterday morning, for those of you who follow the podcast and know that I have this 3 times a week meeting that we all sit and kind of talk about politics and things that are going on and remembering our past and comparing it with the present, that one of my oldest friends that dates back to 1966 homeroom class, no less, he disclosed to me for the first time that his father would have been considered a birthright baby. His grandfather got here and was not a citizen, was applying for green card status, which is another topic for another podcast we need to talk about. Had it not been for them being allowed to stay based on the birthright law, I may never have known this man. And that, to me, the value that he's added to the world and to my life, it was worth it. So it's just one guy. A lot of people say just one guy, but he's got children here in this country. He's had a legitimate job. He's well known in his trade. But anyways, I digress. Today's challenge by 22 states through the Washington court is setting up a battle that's going to be a long time coming. We're looking at local and state courts. We're looking at state appeal courts. We're looking at state Supreme Courts, and then we're looking up into possibly the federal courts and the federal appeals courts, and then into the federal Supreme Courts. I don't know if I mentioned state Supreme Courts in there, but that's just another battleground. So as you can see, it's going to be a long battle. I don't think that this thing is going to be settled anytime within the next 4 years, okay? So the man that intended it is probably going to watch it get locked up in challenges. But it's going to bring about something that I don't want to see it, but I know that it's going to happen. I'm going to see the division of Americans over this. And it all goes back to my firm belief, again, for those who follow the podcast and know me, I am my brothers and sisters' keeper. They got here looking for another chance, looking for a break, the parents, and they had children. Like a friend of mine on another podcast says, we don't sterilize people when they come into the country to stop them from having children. It's a natural course of life. Every one of you is a product of that. And all they were looking for was a chance at life. They were looking at hoping to get away from the oppression and possibly the genocide in their own countries. So they came here, they had children. Why are we punishing the children? Okay? Let's get our court systems together. Let's get it so that it really has enough judges to handle the case. Okay? Both left and right are wrong in this. You know, in what's been let go for 5 decades. You know, no one's innocent. You know, if the left wants to point fingers, the right's pointing fingers. And you know what? I'm standing here in the middle going, yeah, you're both wrong. And I'm going to say it out loud. You're both wrong. You know, stop with the politics. Okay? Let's get on with getting the laws squared away and making it so that we don't have to throw people out of our country when for the most of the history of our country, we welcomed them. With that, I'm going to call it an end. I don't want to get too far down the rabbit hole on this one because there's going to be a lot coming. And I'm going to watch the Washington State Federal Court judge and see where he goes from there and where the rest of the states go in this. And I think it's going to be important to all of us. So if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, and you want to help the channel, hit the subscribe button. You know, I'm here. I'm going to be here. I'm not going away. Sorry, I'm retired. I got nothing else to do, so this is me. Okay, folks, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.